Hello everyone and welcome back to the last day of the America's Armageddon series. I hope you're excited as we are. The show that gets in your face more than 1001 hungry mosquitoes. And we're going to be bringing you all the excitement, myself, Grandmaster Simon Williams from the Berlin studios, alongside my great friend Jovanka Huska.
Pleasure to be here, Simon, and I'd also like to equally extend a very warm welcome to everyone watching the show on television and also online. And remember, if you like what you see, please remember to subscribe to the World Chess YouTube channel, where you can find additional content, interviews with the players, highlights, and remember, if you like it, share it with anyone who plays chess.
That's right, Jovanka, and we're now going to bring you a highlight video from our good friend Fiona, and let's have a look at what's happened so far.
As we enter the final day of the action here in Berlin, let's have a look at the best moments so far. We had 8 players from the Americas fighting it out in an exciting double elimination format. 6 of the best players from the Americas were invited, and we had 2 online qualifiers who joined us all the way from Peru, Grandmaster Jose Martinez and International Master Renato Terry. We saw a lot of thrilling action. The players fought it out in a blitz format. We had 6 Armageddon deciders almost every single day, the most exciting of which happened between Leinier Dominguez and Andrew Tang. The pieces were flying, the heart rates were through the roof, and we've seen so much action here throughout the week. Today, the event reaches its conclusion, and we will find out, will the top seed Wesley So continue winning all his matches, or can either Sam Shankland or Andrew Tang snatch the victory away from him? Tune in today as we find out.
So this is the last day of the Americas. It's going to be really, really exciting. So make sure you've got your popcorn ready. And yeah, let's have a little dive into what we can expect.
Yeah, because this is the Armageddon Championship Series 2023. It's the ultimate chess showdown. And there are 3 regional qualifying events: the Americas, which is happening right now, Asia and Oceania, Europe and Africa, and a very special qualifying stage, the Women's Armageddon Week. A total of 8 players participate in each qualifying event, and there are 32 players in total. So 2 players from each region have qualified online, so it could be you next time, while 6 of the strongest players have received those invitations.
So Wesley So already through to the grand final, but who is going to join him? Everything is broadcast live from the World Chess Club in Berlin on Unter der Linden Street.
And we kicked off everything with the America series. During this week, these guys have shown us how it is done. So 5 players have been eliminated, and these 3 players are still remaining.
We only have American players left. We have the great Wesley So, Sam Shankland and Andrew Tang. It's going to be fast. It's going to be furious. The action is not far away. And again, this is your chance. Get the popcorn in.
Yeah, and talking about popcorn and excitement, we do have to mention one of our partners, the FIDE Online Arena, which hosts rated tournaments and games 24 hours per day. Join the arena, you'll get a FIDE ID, profile on FIDE.com, access to a pro chess community, official online ratings, and titles all recognized by the International Chess Federation. So remember to play official games at chessarena.com.
Let's now bring up the bracket and the situation so far in the tournament. Remember, this is the last day. It's all going to happen. We're going to have a winner. We're going to have some tears, maybe. Wesley So in the final already, but the first match is going to be between Sam Shankland and Andrew Tang. Now, if one of these guys loses, they are out. It's going to be fascinating. And what is the format here?
Yeah, the 2 players will be playing 2 blitz games against each other, and if the match is still tied, it will go to Armageddon. And you know, we only have 3 players remaining in the competition. Let's have a look at their route to the final.
Wesley So arrived in Berlin as the top seed, and he has had an unbeaten run so far. In his first match, he beat Sam Shankland from the US after Sam missed a chance for 1 second in a very intense moment. Next up, Wesley was pitted against Renato Terry from Peru, and here Wesley proved too strong, winning both games in their mini-match encounter. Next up for Wesley, a fellow player from Minnesota, Andrew Tang. Their first game ended in a draw. However, in Game 2, Andrew got a little too optimistic and Wesley punished the pawn sacrifice. Now Wesley is only 1 match victory away from being crowned the champion here in Berlin. Andrew Tang is known to be one of the fastest players on the planet with a mouse, but he's also been very impressive here in Berlin. In the first match, he took out Leinier Dominguez after what was the most incredible Armageddon scramble. This set up a match against Jose Martinez, where once again it went down to the wire and Andrew prevailed in their Armageddon match. This means that Andrew took on the top seed Wesley So next. Their first game ended in a draw, but in Game 2 Andrew got a little too optimistic and his pawn sacrifice didn't quite pay off. This means that Andrew will be back to take on Sam Shankland now to get a shot at a rematch against Wesley So and fight for the title here in Berlin. Sam Shankland lost his first match of the tournament against Wesley So, thus ending up in the losers bracket. However, from here on out, Sam won all his matches. First 2-0 against Canada's Eric Hansen, then in an Armageddon decider against Jose Martinez from Peru, setting up a match against his fellow American Grandmaster Leinier Dominguez. Here Sam prevailed 1.5-1/2 after a very nice finish in the second game of their match. This means that Sam will now take on Andrew Tang for a chance at a rematch against Wesley So. Let's remember, all of these players can still win the title here in.
We are only moments away now from the first match, which is Sam Shotgun Shankland versus the speedy guy Andrew Tang, and they're going to face off in this lower bracket, and the winner of this match will have a crack at the undefeated Wesley So, who's been so strong so far.
Yeah, and Sam and Andrew have actually never ever played each other before, and ever since Sam missed a win against Wesley in the second game, he just hasn't put a foot wrong. So it's going to be a close one, I have to say.
I think it's going to be a very close match, and we can now just look at the players in a bit more detail before they kick off. And we have Sam Shotgun Shankland first, the Grandmaster at the age of 20, and he's been playing brilliant chess so far in this competition. He's becoming more of a blitz specialist, and he has already achieved a lot, being Olympic gold winner for Team US of A.
But he will be up against Andrew. I'm going to have to borrow this one, Simon. Speedy guy, Tang. You know, he is the god of speed. I mean, he was Grandmaster at 19 years old. He has a blitz rating of 2602. He is super calm under pressure. He is a hyper bullet chess lover. And I have to say, he's also still studying. So whilst everyone has been preparing hard, Andrew Tang has been locked in his room, just working hard on those essays.
Hopefully not locked in his room. That would be a bit harsh, but he's in his room working. But we're now got the clock, it's counting down. There's 48 seconds until they kick off, and it's going to be a very close match, I feel. You've got Sam, who's more of a theoretical player, against Andrew, who is just a speed demon. And well, I don't know who my money is on, but let's remember, the loser is out. They don't get another chance. So stakes are high.
Certainly, the stakes are high, and I have to remind everyone at home that whoever wins this match will actually get a ticket to the grand final, which is taking place in September. 15 seconds until the start of play. The players are sat there, they are ready. Sam has the white pieces. He is known for his very thorough opening preparation, whereas Andrew Tang has a more limited, more trusted opening repertoire. And the handshake, they are off. How is Sam opening up the position? It's c4, and we're probably going to see either a Catalan or something called a neo-Catalan.
Yeah, so Sam picking a rather positional line. It now gone into the main line Catalan opening, which has quite a bit of theory. Let's remember that Sam's strength is his opening knowledge. Well, it's one of his many strengths, and this is where he could really place quite a lot of pressure on young Andrew Tang. Now, a little bit surprising, these two have both had two of the lowest heart rates so far. You can see the heart rates just above and below the board, but they're both a little bit higher than normal. I think the pressure is there because there's so much to play for here. If you win, you're through to the grand final. If you lose, you go home.
You go home, and also if you win, you have a guaranteed prize of 8,000 euros.
That's not bad. That will be a good night in Berlin for sure. And the position, fairly symmetrical. The reason white plays this opening is often because of the bishop in front of his king. You can see that this bishop is called a fianchetto bishop. It puts pressure along the diagonal, and black doesn't have a bishop like that. So that's really where white is trying to get the advantage from that bishop pointing towards the center. It's quite a slow build-up, normally this one. It's quite a positional game, but all the pawns and pieces remain on the board, and we know from experience it will soon heat up.
It certainly is, and Sam does not seem flustered at all. He's just blitzing out the moves like there's no tomorrows. He actually has more time on his clock than he began with, and there we see perhaps a move causing Sam to pause for a millisecond.
Yeah, only a millisecond, and look at the clock times already. Andrew's already spent over a minute, and Sam seems to be very comfortably in his preparation. Now, a very interesting structure has arisen. You can see that black has taken over the center of the board. Black has two pawns marching down, looking after each other, hand in hand. But are those pawns strong or are they weak? The white rook has lined up against the black queen, so white may be able to put some pressure on those pawns. And look at this move. That's quite a flash move there, Yovi.
Yeah, and obviously you cannot take that knight because the rook will just zoom up the board and capture the queen. And Andrew just snatched off the c5 pawn, and Sam developing his bishop over to g5, causing an unpleasant pin. So that's why Andrew just says, chase that bishop away. We see a trade, and now things are really sharpening up because it's all going to come down to, as Simon has mentioned, the strength of those two black pawns in the middle. If black gets away with it, manages to consolidate his position, he will have the freedom just to push hard to suffocate white's pieces.
Yeah, this is black's advantage, I feel, definitely, those pawns in the middle. But if you look at the light squares, the white squares, white is really controlling them. He's got this monster of a knight in the middle of the board. That is an absolute beast. A knight in the middle can cause a lot of trouble, and that bishop in front of the white king is looking towards that knight, guarding that knight. Remember, we can see the evaluation bar as well, so if something dramatic happens, that will shoot up and down in one player's favor, and the heart rate could also be a good indication of just how much stress they are going through. Both sides still developing. Looks fairly even, very even to me at the moment.
Yeah, and I feel like it is very balanced. I mean, now for black, it's all about sitting on the space that they have and just preventing white from doing their plans. So for instance, white might want to break out in the side with b2, b4. You've got to stop that, and white now maneuvering the knight to d2, threatening to jump into the e4 square, which would have been a very unpleasant double attack. And that's why Andrew retreats the bishop. Bishops can work from most squares, I would say. They're long-range pieces, and now it's just a case of what is Sam going to do next. Is he going to push the b-pawn? Is he going to centralize the knight? He does attack the queen. Queen steps back, and now here it comes. It's getting spicy.
It is, it's really heating up here. I think Andrew's got to try to, at some point, move the pawns in front of his king. There's a pawn in front of the rook on the right-hand side. If that comes up the board, he can try to budge the white knights away, because Sam has that extra pressure on the queen side. I really like this move. And Andrew's heart rate, I've never seen it this high. It's gone to 127. I really feel this is an indication that he's going through a little bit more stress than he normally feels in these matches. Remember, it is the last day, so the stakes are so much higher. There's money on the line. There's chances to get in the grand final on the line. They've got to be feeling it. Even the coolest of cucumbers will be feeling this one.
Very calm move, but I thought this was not possible because White actually had a threat in the position. He was going to push the b pawn one square, attack the knight, destabilize the bishop.
Wow.
And after the knight jumps to the edge of the board, you can push the b pawn one square further. Just completely, disrupt the black forces. And the evaluation bar just telling us White is in complete control. White is winning.
I think the pressure has got to Andrew. Andrew under a minute. And look at Sam. Sam is obviously very excited. I think he might be, as Yovi has pointed out, winning a piece here. And at this level, a piece is too much. Because how do you look after your bishop? Black has to grab a pawn, but you know what's better than a pawn, Yovi? A piece. And all White needs to do now, well, he could move the rook, or he could grab that knight with his pawn. If he keeps his cool here, Sam should be off to a fantastic start. It's very hard to get settled in these hard, pressurized situations. The rook moves up to just simply attack the black bishop. And look how many pieces are attacked of blacks. He's got the knight attacked. He's got the bishop attacked. Maybe even the bishop on the left side could be under some pressure. He's only got 15 seconds
on the clock, and Andrew grabbing another pawn. Queen takes bishop on the board. I mean, I think this is probably the best that he can do, but 10 seconds left on the clock, 126 heart rate, and now we see some more trades. Queen just drops back, and Andrew now is just in hustle mode.
Yeah, so this is a beautiful move by Sam, just making sure his knight has some good squares there. They're playing quick, they're playing fast. Andrew's only chance is to keep the tempo up. He's got to try to put pressure on Sam on the clock, because he's only got 2 pawns, 2 points for 1 piece. But pieces are so much stronger than pawns, especially in a situation like this where they just control the middle of the board. But you still have to win this game. You've got a good position, you've got to keep your nerve, and you've got to put the ball in the back of the net.
And I like Sam's last move, attacking the queen. Queen goes to the edge of the board, and now it's just about maximizing pieces. And love this one as well. Offer a trade of queens. This is something that Andrew does not want. Rook mobilizes, and we just see that both players are just reacting. You know, they're just struggling to come up with a concrete way of action, and instead is just simply making rather reactionary moves, attacking. And
I think he's broken through with this move. This is really bad news for Black now. I mean,
and another one goes. Oh, this is curtains. It's not possible to take that bishop because the knight will come into e6 with a check.
I think we could see the end soon, Yovi, here. I mean, now White is a whole piece up.
2, and the handshake. Sam has won the first game. What a powerful performance after that oversight from Andrew Tang.
Yeah, really, really good game from Sam. He gets better and better every single day. And if we're talking about quality of chess, Sam is up there with Wesley So, playing the best moves so far. Andrew, you could tell from his heart rate there, something that's not used in other competitions. It's a great indicator of just how stressed out the players are. And Andrew was surprisingly high there. I mean, he blundered. He just blundered a piece.
Yeah, he completely forgot that Sam had some threats on the board, and he just overlooked it, blundered a piece, and there was just nothing he could do. But it was, up until that point, a very fighting game.
And you can see at this stage, Sam gets his knight right into the center of the board. What a beautiful knight that was. And it kind of remained there, causing trouble for a long time. Its tentacles swarming all the way around the board there. And that was the start, maybe of Andrew's problems, but they got a lot worse later on. He just missed Sam's threat. and this move was the big mistake.
It was the big mistake. It just completely overlooked Sam's response, which was just to attack the knight by pushing the b pawn 1 square forward. There it comes, and after this, Andrew's position just fell apart like a house of cards.
Yeah, totally. That was a very strong move. You still got to convert these games. I mean, when you know you're winning, it's so hard to actually finish the game off because you get more and more tense. But in this situation, those white knights, they're just so strong. And one of them is an extra knight. So Andrew's really got to bounce back from this and show a better quality of play to have any chance of now getting through to the grand final. Remember, if Andrew loses the next game, he's going home. That's it. And we will have a first final of Sam versus Wesley So. And here is another key moment, and this is where white just started taking everything.
I mean, an extra piece is better than 2 pawns. I mean, you said it yourself, and well, Sam just using every single idea possible. And now we're going to see a second pawn fall off after this stunning bishop takes pawn. And that's it. There's nothing to be done with seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, that was a great tactical spot by Sam there, and we're already counting down for the next game. Remember, this is quick, it's fast, we don't get much time in between games here. We're going to be straight in with Andrew at least having the advantage of the white pieces. He's got to win this game. He's 1-0 down. Any other result, he's going home. Tang has got a tango, and he's got a tango good.
Yeah, and as for Sam, he just has to hold on and not fall off. He can't let his nerves or any form of emotion whatsoever just sway him from the task. He just has to do what needs to be done. I mean, one of the great things about Sam is he has a very good opening repertoire. He's done courses on this. He knows his stuff, and he's been able to freestyle as well. 6 seconds until the start of play. I have to say one thing in Andrew Tang's favor: he's been in this situation before.
He has. He knows exactly what he's got to do. The pressure should be off Andrew now, surprisingly enough, because you get that game out of the way, you know you've played badly, and you're like, okay, it doesn't matter. I've got that out of the way. Now I can relax into my normal game. We see the London system. Sam doing quite a clever strategy here. He's just mirroring what white is doing. And this is not a bad idea. This line is actually a line that Magnus Carlsen, the current world champion, has played with the white pieces, but it can be quite tricky because the white king cannot get safe here. This last move, the bishop swinging down, it has to really be met by queen takes, because on the next move, black's going to bring the other bishop out with a check, and that check will cause the white king some problems. It is still theory. Sam, as you mentioned, Jovi, really knows his theory, and I'm sure he's aware just how many problems this could cause to maybe Andrew's not very well prepared or he's slowing down.
Yeah, he has slowed down. I agree with you. Queen takes bishop is what I have in my notes when I have this position with the whites. I mean, yes, it's true, the white king will live in the center for a while, but as compensation, he will have the bishop pair, and instead we see him throw in a check. Oh, queen takes queen. We're now into a queenless middle game, and now comes a check from Sam. Black king either has to move or the knight must block the check. But knight blocking the check is no good. You don't want to do that. Move the king. But Andrew taking his time. I would just step the king up to e2.
I mean, when you say he's taking his time, he's really taking his time, and Sam is up on the clock. He's gained time. The evaluation bar still thinks this position is absolutely fine, but the reason I don't like what Andrew's done is that the queens have come off, meaning the likelihood of a draw is much higher. And what will a draw do to Andrew? It will send him home. So he's got to try and get something out of this middle game position. In Andrew's favor, he has more pawns pressurizing the center. He has 2 pawns there, black only has 1. So he's really got to use those pawns to create some issues for Sam. Sam having his first think so far.
Yeah, he's dropping his bishop back, and I do wonder whether this will invite white to actually seize space on the left side of the board, push the c pawn up 1 square forward. That's my favorite thing to do.
I think there's a bit of a problem though with that black knight, isn't there?
Oh,
it's
gosh.
a nasty knight. Remember, these knights in the centre, they're causing so many problems. And
Yeah, that doesn't actually work because bishop takes bishop is a big threat on the board, followed by knight takes pawn. I'd forgotten about that. And Andrew, he has to take some measures there, and so that's why he challenges the knight. I think this is a good strategy because after bishop takes bishop, you will meet that with knight takes knight.
Yeah, I really like this move. Black's knight was too strong in the middle. We've talked about knights being strong in the middle of the board, and if you can, you should eliminate them. Eliminate the strongest opposition first. And after this move, white is going to exchange that knight off. The evaluation bar, it is in the middle. It seems like the heart rates are going down. We see a number of exchanges. Sam keeping his bishop on the board. But another factor that's going to help Sam out here is that the bishops are now on opposite colour squares. And that increases again the likelihood of a draw. And a draw is all that Sam needs after winning the first game. Andrew moves his knight back. He still has some pressure on that pawn of Black's in the middle.
But a very interesting decision there from Andrew. I feel like he's taking some risks because Black does have the option of playing pawn takes pawn. He also has the option of actually playing bishop takes pawn. So if Sam chooses, he takes for the second option, bishop retreats, and now we're going to see white snatch that pawn in the center quicker than you can say whatever.
Snatch a pawn.
Snatch a pawn. Sees a pawn, knight takes a pawn, and we see him chasing away that bishop. It will retreat, it has to. And there he goes, knight takes pawn, and we see castle's queen side. It's interesting with the presence of opposite color bishops because at the same time, if Andrew is careless and just trades of all the pieces, then it will be just a draw. But the presence of rooks and knights does mean that he can just take control of the light squares and do what he's doing now, just completely harass this dark square bishop that Black has.
Yeah, it's still game on. There's no doubt about that because if you look at where the pawns are situated, they're not symmetrical, and Andrew's done a very good job there. He's brought his bishop out, and that's a pin. A pin is when you use a long-range piece like a bishop, a rook, or a queen, and you tie one of your opponent's pieces down. You really just tie it down. You're tying the black knight down. So I'm actually starting to think, well, hello. Andrew's got some great chances. He's got more pawns in the center. I love that last move, fantastic move. He maybe has a rook coming to the open file. If you've been watching us every day, which you should have been, what else have you been doing with your lives? You should know you put your rooks on the open file. And if you have missed previous days, do check out the YouTube channel. There's loads of stuff there.
Definitely, and I love what Andrew is doing. He's going to pile everything up on the F line and start targeting that very weak pawn on F7. Just look at his pawn on G5. It's just tying down 3 of Black's pawns, and there it goes. Rook sits there on F4, and Sam has to break out and pushes the pawn. You either can double or you can actually trade pawns. What would you do, Simon? 30 seconds on the clock.
I would move first of all before I lose on time. That's what I would want to do. I mean, I think that his strategy here is okay, but I would have probably captured that pawn. Sam's doing a great job of just maintaining the disadvantage to a minimum, and he might be okay now because white's pawns in the center could also become weak. The white rook swings over. White is trying, Andrew, to get the rook into the position, but Sam is very calmly maneuvering his pieces. I love the way he's moving.
Big threat. The white knight cannot move. You cannot just casually move because we have bishop takes pawn or rook takes pawn on the board, and this is why Andrew has to retreat the bishop, has to go on the defensive. But that knight on D5, it's not stable. It can be chased away, and Sam, he's so precise. He sees a target, he pounces, and he's now going after the G5 pawn.
Yeah, keep an eye on their heart rates. They are rising. They're both a lot higher than their normal resting rate. Sam mentioned his resting rate is around 60, so it's over double what he would be on a nice calm day. This is certainly not a nice calm day. It's Armageddon event after all. And the only way this will go to an Armageddon game is if white can win this one. Any other result and Sam is through to face Wesley So. With that last move.
6 seconds. Oh, and he retreats the knight, and there's a pawn that's up for grabs. Is Sam going to take it? I don't see why not. I would just, okay, no, he doesn't. He goes for knight takes knight. Remember, a draw is as good as a victory for Sam because it means he will punch his way through to the final against Wesley.
All Sam really needs to do here is swap off all the rooks, because if you have opposite colour bishop versus opposite colour bishop, a draw is extremely likely. And when you have rooks on the board, it's normally who has the more active rooks, and Black's rook has got into White's position. White, on the other hand, is using his pawns to try to open things up. But I like what Sam's doing here, and this is not an ideal move from Andrew. Look at the other rook. The other rook, he's getting flanked here from both sides. Sam is bringing in the rooks. This looks fantastic. I think he's trapped the rook. Has he trapped the rook? This could be going. This could be it.
It's falling apart, and that's it. The bishop will fall off the board, and that is why Andrew resigns.
Sam Shankland wins both of his games in great style there. He's looking so good, and you can see him celebrate. I love seeing the emotion there. He knows he's through to the grand final. He's got his place. He's guaranteed at least €8,000. If he wins the final, he could be up to €18,000 just to start with. There's maybe more money to come later on. I feel a bit sorry for Andrew though. He didn't really show his best today.
No, I mean, I think he was very unfortunate in the sense that Sam just came very well prepared. He knew what he was doing. He was on form. I mean, we've seen that after his loss to Wesley, he just seems to be working his magic on every single level. And what an impressive first match from Sam. And there we see Andrew's opening, using his trusted London system. And we saw this, of course, did not faze Sam. Sam instantly responds, and he meets Andrew's critical idea of c4 with bishop takes knight.
I think one of the problems that Andrew has is obviously he's not a full-time chess player, he's also a student. And Wesley So brought this up in the interview, something else you can see on the YouTube channel, that his opening repertoire is a little bit narrow, so it's very easy to prepare against. And we see here the exchange of queens. This is another factor that helps Sam get a nice stable position without too many worries. That bishop flying in with a very unfortunate check, and now the white king has to go to a square it doesn't really want to go to. It would rather castle, but it can't castle because it's in check. That bishop attacking it on the diagonal there. So Black really played very, very well. I mean, Sam in both games, just excellent chess.
Just excellent, putting on the pressure when it matters. And here, it was slightly uncomfortable for Sam, but Sam, okay, he understands that he needs to take dynamic measures and instead chooses to break out. He's not going to be the one groveling for a draw. And I was very impressed by how he handled this.
Yeah, I mean, at one point Andrew had got the advantage, but Sam kind of kept his cool there and he didn't panic. And this is one thing in the Armageddon series you have to avoid doing. I'd be panicking, shaking, dropping pieces, sweating. I'd be all over the shop. Far too much pressure for this old man to play in the event. But he held it. He held it together very nicely. No worries at all there.
Absolutely not. And again, look at this, full board vision from Sam. He strikes out in the center, but what I like next is that after this pawn move, he just calmly puts his rook on an open line and starts harassing the white king. This is such great positional play.
Definitely. The most important thing in a rook ending, we're kind of in an ending here, is to get your rooks active. And that last move was checking the king to the bishop behind. When the king moves, the bishop would have dropped. And I think now we're going to hear from the loser, and we have Fiona having an interview.
Andrew, this is not the result you wanted, I'm sure. Unfortunately, you're now out of the tournament after losing this match against Sam. Can you tell us a little bit about the two games, please?
Yeah, I just didn't play that well, honestly. First game, I just hung a piece, basically. I think I could have trapped his knight, but I didn't see it again, so we're just missing things. And then second game, yeah, I was surprised by his move order a bit, so I didn't get what I wanted, and it's just not that easy to get winning chances there, although maybe I had some chance if I had seen this knight e7, knight f5 earlier, but yeah, it was pretty drawish.
In the first game especially, it looked like your heart rate was a bit higher than what we've been used to in the tournament so far. Did you feel more nervous?
Yeah, I was definitely a bit more nervous because this match was for top 2 and whatever, but I don't know. During the game, I was not really paying attention to that, so yeah, I wasn't sure what my heart rate would be.
How much did it mean to you, as you said, you know, the top 2, the winner of this match qualifies to the grand finale? Was that something that was really a big goal for you?
Yeah, definitely. After I won my first 2 matches, like, I was in a good position to qualify, so obviously it's a big disappointment, but he played well.
The tournament, unfortunately, now is over. Can you tell us a bit about what, for you, made this Armageddon Championship so special?
Yeah, I think the format is just extremely exciting. I've never played in a tournament that's made me this stressed, but also had so much fun playing it, so yeah, I really like the format.
If you had to describe this tournament in just one word, what would that word be?
Stressful.
And tell us a little bit about your week here in Berlin. How did you enjoy yourself?
Yeah, the chess was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, the schoolwork was not as fun, so I didn't get to go out that much, but I really enjoyed playing the tournament.
Fantastic. Well, Andrew, it's been a pleasure having you here with us. Commiserations on this result, but we hope to have you back someday. And for now, back to the studio with Jovanka and Simon.
And we have to mention one of our partners, Kaspersky. As a technology and digital privacy company, Kaspersky supports the secure advancement of chess in the digital space and its expansion into online tournaments. It's the perfect combination of human excellence and strong technology.
And we're back now. I mean, I think Andrew summed that up in one word: stressful. But that's what we want for entertainment. We like a bit of stress in the chess world. It really takes things to the next level. And well, we're going to have the next match start quite soon, and this is a very big match, Jovi.
It's a huge match. It's just like Wesley, the big boss, against Sam Shankland, who we saw is in impressive form, just defeating Andrew Tang 2-0. Yeah, it's stressful, but it is pushing chess and the players to the limits, and I like to see that.
Oh, definitely. It's always good to be pushed to your limits. And what's interesting about this? Well, let's have a look at the players first. We've got Wesley, Grandmaster at the age of 15, Blitz rating 2739. I mean, he doesn't really need more of an introduction. If you don't know who Wesley So is, what are you doing? He's just very good. Let's just leave it at that. He's just too good, this guy.
But he is up against Sam Shankland, who is a man on form. He just keeps on getting better and better. And just to recap some of those impressive stats, he was a Grandmaster at 20 years old. He was US champion in 2018. He's been Olympic gold medal winner with the USA team. And also, let's not forget, he's a tough as steels because he competed in the reality TV show Survivor, although he didn't survive very long there. Got knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a show where you have to survive naked. I'm quite happy he's not naked during this competition. But this is going to be a very exciting match. And just to remind you what the format is now, because Wesley has won every single game, it's a little bit different. If Wesley wins this mini-match, he wins the whole championships. He's basically got a second life. On the other hand, because Sam lost to Wesley earlier on, Sam needs to beat Wesley in 2 mini-matches to become the champion. So we're going to start off, it's the same format, 2 games, and if it's drawn, an Armageddon game. But it really is big favourites Wesley here, because he's got 2 chances to win the whole thing, right?
Yeah, of course. And I agree. 1 second to the start of play. The lights have changed. The clock has been pressed. And we saw a handshake as well. And Wesley starting with developing the knight, the reti opening. And, oh, look at this move. B3 on the board. So Wesley trying to get out, trying to dodge Sam's opening preparations.
Yeah, there's a lot of mind play that goes on when you're facing an opponent. You've got to work out what kind of style your opponent is. Sam is known for his opening knowledge. So this is why Wesley is playing a very unorthodox setup. And I say unorthodox, he's just playing quietly. He's saying, I don't want to battle with your theory. I want to get into a position and I want to play just maybe a very equal position, but an equal position where we both have chances and it will come down to the better player. I like the setup that Sam plays. This is one of my favorite setups. It's called the Botvinnik setup. And this is named after ex-world champion Mikhail Botvinnik. He favored this kind of setup that black is playing on the dart squares, trying to grip the middle of the board with those pawns on the dart squares.
I agree, and taking a look at the heart rates, I also see that Wesley's heart rate is skyrocketing. It was 146, it's calmed itself down to 132. Sam, on the other hand, well, he's higher than normal. We see him usually hover around the 80 to 90 mark. He was up to 100. And just to kind of give you kind of a bearing of what a normal resting heart rate is, it's under 100. Anything above 100 means you're stressed, and anything above 120, well, you're very, very stressed. And if you're reaching 140 to 170, as Wesley has done, well, be careful.
Yeah, it's ambulance time. Not quite.
Not quite.
Wesley has a high heart rate. I mean, he uses this energy on the board clearly, and he did get to 170 yesterday, but he won the game very, very nicely. They're kind of doing a little bit of shadow boxing here, just getting ready. I don't think Sam has any problems at all. They're just sort of waiting. One of them has to make a pawn break at some point. And maybe this is Sam's chance to push the pawn in the middle of the board. This would be a standard idea in this Botvinnik setup. Otherwise, you can just shuffle the queen forwards one square, connect your rooks, and then try to exchange off. He's gone for the slower approach. A great positional idea for black is to try to get rid of the bishops on the light squares, because that bishop of whites in front of the king, it guards the king, but it also aims across the board, across those light squares. So Sam, getting double power with the queen and the bishop, is trying to put his bishop to the right-hand side and get rid of those guys, which seems logical.
It certainly seems logical, and if I were playing with the white pieces, I would also prepare my own pawn break. I would move the rook to the center and then also reroute the knights that's sitting on c3. It's in the way of Startso's bishop. Move that e2 and get ready to blast open the center with a d3, d4 pawn break.
Yeah, so he is now threatening this pawn break. So Sam plays in the center first. I really like what Sam's doing. It might have helped him that he had that last match because he's more warmed up. And I don't think Wesley would have picked to have this position with the white pieces because he's got less space. And look at it, black's got 2 pawns in the center against white's 0, now that knight jumps in. And also white's got a very weak pawn in front of the queen. That pawn in front of the queen could be a target for a black attack.
Yeah. I kind of feel like Wesley hasn't positioned his pieces in the best squares. I mean, for somehow or other, I feel the queen is misplaced there on d2. And there we see Wesley make a very committal move. You know, attack the knight, yes, but it does, as a long-term consequence, just block in his own light-squared bishop, and it concedes the d4 square for a black knight to just hop in. And I'm also, just to add some misery to the position, I'm also quite worried about the pawn on b3, and so was Wesley, and that's why he's pushed out with b4.
Yeah, it's definitely a very comfortable position for the black pieces and for Sam here. I mean, the heart rate as well, look at that. I mean, he's got quite a nice heart rate at only 92, and Wesley's is going up all the time. We have a bit of action in the middle.
He sacrificed his rook just to get control over the just to also win the e5 pawn.
So Wesley has sacrificed. So Wesley now points down, and you can see that Sam comes in with his queen there. And this position, well, okay.
Queen cannot trade. I mean, any endgame is just going to be terrible for Wesley, so that's why he says, nope, going to move my queen. Remember, the players don't have so much time, so that you can get away with such risky play. And big threats on the board. You know, white is actually threatening to go bishop takes bishop. Another long-term threat is actually just to go forward with the d3 pawn, and that's why we see the bishops get traded. And Sam moving his queen to attack the knight. Knight is defended by the pawn moving forward.
And look at that lovely move from Sam. Sam swinging the rook all the way down into the position, and the knight's come back. And what's he going to do now? He has to move his queen. He keeps the pressure up, and it's looking very nice for Sam. They're both under a minute at the moment, so again, the clock's going to be playing more and more of an important role in this position. And a counter-attack here in the middle. Wesley uses one of his pawns. He's got to try to do something in the center of the board where he's got those pawns.
Yeah, but the play is really sharpening up. Yes, okay, white is down material, but he does have the skeleton of an attack against the black king. Look at the king, it's completely undefended, and that's why Wesley is just moving pieces as quickly as they can over to that side, getting ready to break through. I mean, you've even got moves like knight takes pawn in the air.
Yeah, I was wondering, this might be a way to try and get a draw for Wesley. He might better use his knight to take the pawn on the right-hand side, opening up black's king. And he has played it. He's opened up black's king. But I don't think this is more than a draw. And what I mean by a draw, the black king's going to expose itself. The white queen can come in, and it might be able to give petrol. The evaluation bar doesn't agree with me. The evaluation bar sees more because it's gone up in white's favor. Let's see.
Oh, wow. Fascinating stuff, but Wesley does not have much time. He's 25 seconds with a heart rate of 175. And Wesley, whoa, he goes for it. He throws in another knight into the attack and forcing Sam to return some of the extra material.
Look at that heart rate, 173. We have a new heart rate record, 175 caught there, but the queen swings into the position and he pushes his pawn forwards. Wesley is really putting pressure on Sam, but Sam has the extra material. So if Sam can just defend and not get checkmated, he will win this game. But the pawn comes forwards, checking the king. They're so both under 20 seconds here.
It's so dangerous, and now the bishop comes in. Big threat on the board of white pushing the d pawn one square.
It's checkmate in one threat, and queen can check the king. That would be checkmate. Can Sam defend this? That is a major threat. He might have to give his knight up. He has. The only way to defend it, there is the check, and it looks to me like Sam is now in serious trouble. What brilliant play from Wesley to turn this around.
Yeah, complete collapse by Sam Shankland. Such impressive stuff from Wesley. You know, nothing to be done. Now the rook comes in, big threat on the board of attacking and taking the pawn. And then, okay, queen checks, a pawn falls. Black's king is just
checkmate.
Panicking.
Must be coming soon.
Okay, well, checkmate threatened right now.
And that pawn could also become a queen very soon. It's only one square away from queening, so Sam covers that queening square with his own queen, but also Sam has a little bit of pressure against white's king. Another check there. It's not all over yet, especially with the time. Look at the clocks. It's so close on time. Wesley, a big check. He's won the rook.
He's won the rook, and that's it. Game over.
And Wesley has won. And Sam just blundered his rook at the end there. He is gutted, Jovanka, completely gutted. Look at the body actions there. Look at his head in his hands there, because he had such a great position.
He did. You know, he won material from the middle game, and it looked like he was in cruise control, but he forgot the golden rule in chess, which is to look after your king.
That's right, and you've got to be very careful of your pieces as well. Loose pieces drop off, and at the end there he had that loose rook and it dropped off. What really impressed me about that was that Wesley seemed to be in quite a tough situation, but then he turned it around with some very interesting tactics. what can we say about the opening?
Well, I have to say, it was a departure from Wesley's normal style. Wesley loves to take the center. He loves to play in a very classical way. And this time he said, okay, Sam, you are going to take control of the center. I'm just going to attack it. It didn't really work out for him, I must say. But unfortunately, the game comprises of more than just the opening. And here we see the moment where things start to swing in Sam's favor. He breaks out in the center. He has full control. He has lovely piece play. But Wesley, resourceful as ever.
Yeah, Sam was certainly looking like he was gaining the upper hand in that early middle game stage, but as the middle game progressed, Wesley started taking a lot of risks, and this is a great strategy. When things are starting to go bad, rather than fade away and die slowly, you might as well go out in a fireball of flames. Much better way to die, surely. You don't want to just fade away, and that's why Wesley took a lot of risks and he sacrificed, because he thought, well, if I'm going to lose, I'm going to really make it complicated and I'm going to give myself some chances.
Yeah.
Great way to play.
Great strategy to initiate chaos. And I just have to say this is why Wesley is an elite player. And here's the moment, you know, where Wesley said, no, I do not want to draw. I want to go for your king, go for checkmate. And he throws in all the pieces he can towards the black king. And Sam was just completely forced on the defenses and just cracked, lost.
Yeah, I can't believe he got his heart rate up to 175.
I know.
I mean, that is serious stuff.
It is serious stuff, but the funny thing is, like, Wesley continues to play great moves. His heart rate might be pounding, it might be through the roof. It does not matter. It does not affect his chess. In fact, it seems like he thrives on it. And we're going to see the moment here where Sam blunders his rook. I mean, his position is pretty bad anyhow, and there he takes the pawn, but queen comes to g6.
Was there a chance there? I mean, maybe the rook could have come back, but then the bishop would have come in. It was game over there. And it's interesting. Okay, well, the countdown for now the second game, but there could be some scientific studies in this, you know, because clearly Wesley is getting in the zone by getting a very high heart rate. It's very interesting to see, you know, he's getting himself stressed out, but then somehow transferring that brilliant energy to the board. And let's just remind everyone what the situation is now. Wesley took the first game. Wesley only needs any kind of result here, a draw, a win, and Wesley is then the champion. It's going to be very tough for Sam, but he does have the white pieces.
Yep, he will need to win on demand. 19 seconds to the start of play. The action is brewing. And here, Sam will have to just throw caution to the wind. He just has to open aggressively. He has to destabilize Wesley early on because Wesley knows his stuff. 4 seconds. And I'm predicting Sam opens with a king's pawn. Here you go, handshake. He has to, okay, he continues with a winning formula, opening with the c-pawn, the English, and going for that Catalan style position that we saw earlier in his match against Andrew Tang.
Yeah, Sam obviously prepared this particular setup for these matches today, and he goes for something a little bit different now. And this is a reti system. You don't push the pawn in front of your queen as white. You play around the center, and it's quite a safe way of playing. So I'm a little bit surprised because remember, Sam must win this game. Okay, he exchanges pawns off, and he's probably going to push something in the center soon, surely. Otherwise, he's just going to have a bit less space, and it's going to be hard to win when you've got a cramped situation.
Yeah, I'm expecting it to happen anytime now, and Wesley making those trades. The trades favor the side with less space, and the queen coming to the c7 square. Sam just copies. I was expecting the d pawn to actually blast open the center, and here goes. Sam says, nope, you had your chance, but you blew it. I'm going to lock down everything in the center, and now we have a position where black has more space. After all, he has control of 4 rows, whereas white has control of 3.
Yeah, so are the black pawns strong or are they weak? We call this pawn structure the Maroczy bind. It was named after the chess player Maroczy. He used to try and get this kind of situation with the pawns in the middle like that to control the center of the board. Not always easy to get, and the idea is you control, but they can be targets, and I can see that Sam, with his last bishop move, may be starting to target them. If his queen just moves over to the left, they line up against black's central pawn. So there's a lot of play here, certainly, because the pieces remain on the board, and a very aggressive response from Wesley there.
I was not expecting that move, actually. I thought, Wesley being in a must-draw situation or any result favoring him, I thought he would kind of hold on to those pawns in the middle, just push that pawn one square forward. And now, well, the play has been accelerated. As Simon mentioned, the e5 pawn will be a target, and it's all about whether Wesley can now start advancing with his pieces. He's got a lovely knight hop into the middle of the board. Is the knight going to jump in right now, or is the bishop simply going to move to f6 to defend this pawn on e5?
Wesley seems to be a bit more relaxed with his heart rate at 134. Keep an eye on the evaluation bar as well. Fans of Sam's shotgun Shankland will be pleased to see it's a little bit in his favour, just a little bit above average for white. That knight comes into the middle as you predicted, Jovi.
Yeah, but the position is not necessarily that solid for Wesley, and we're expecting knight takes knight played on the board, and now e5 is under attack, so you have to move your bishop. I would move it to f6, and there it goes. And somehow, yes, white's pawn structure is pretty cramped, but he has some great pieces. I mean, take a look at that light square bishop. It's a beaut, as they say in Australia, and he is now lengthening the scope of his pieces by challenging with b4. And I really do like Sam's position, actually. There's a lovely harmony to it. The rook on a8 is tied down. White's rook's better. And Wesley striking out in the center. Ooh, it's heating up.
I like this move from Wesley. He's doing a similar thing that he did in the first game. He realises that the play is going against him. In some ways, Sam is outplaying the great Wesley So when things are not going your way, what do? You throw more wood on the fire. You try to burn the house down, create some chaos, create some mayhem on the board. And he's doing that by swapping off those bishops, getting the opposite colour bishops. And the problem that Sam can face here is if the black queen can get near to the white king, it's moving its way around there now, it could well be checkmate. That little black pawn by white's king is very, very dangerous. It's not all bad news for Sam. Sam positionally is doing great. Great pawns in the middle, great bishop in the middle. His white rook is very nice. He's just got to avoid getting checkmated, as we all do when we play chess. Not always easy when you're playing Wesley, though.
And he does make a space for his king. He advances it up, and the king can deal with the checkmating idea by hiding on h2. Yeah, we're all liable to get checkmated. Everybody, even the world champion. When it happens, we all lose. And I'm not sure I like Sam's last move, actually pushing the pawn, which looks very, very natural, but it does interfere. I
love this move. Sorry, Ivanka, but what a move that is.
Oh, no.
Fantastic move. And this is the problem we mentioned, Ivanka. He's offering a pawn. It can be captured in 3 different ways just to get that black queen in. Okay. The black queen is threatening to come in with checkmate.
Yeah, this is really, really shaky now for Sam. He has to attack the f3 pawn. He does it by moving his rook. And now the question is, how is Wesley going to snake the queen in, but at the same time hold on to this pawn? And okay, but he can force a draw, can he not? The bishop can retreat.
Then rook takes pawn might be playable.
Yeah.
So it's maybe not quite a draw yet. Wesley just bringing in another rook. But let's remember, if it is a draw, Wesley is the champion. This is so important to remember. Sam must win this one because he lost the first game. Wesley only needs a draw. They're both under a minute now. I love this last move because that rook could be joining by the swinging action. And okay, the bishop comes in. Could this be, could you be right, Ivanka? Could this be?
Well, we're going to see it. The rook takes pawn.
I think it's winning for black. I think Wesley is simply winning.
Queen comes to check.
And now the bishop. And now the bishop just slides to the middle. Move the bishop to the middle, and you attack white's rook, and you threaten. If the white rook moves, there'd be some checkmate ideas. That he does find the move. The bishop comes to the middle. The problem is, if that white rook that is attacked moves, the black queen checkmates. It goes in front of white's king, Shankland. And I don't see what white can do. This could be the end.
The kingdom has fallen. It is going to be the end, Simon. There's no way to defend against this. I mean, and the clock is ticking. Nothing is helping. Sam, he steps up with his other rook, but after rook takes rook, and we're probably going to see even bishop takes rook is also going to win. Rook c8, attacking the queen.
We have a champion.
Yeah.
Wesley So winning both games.
Wesley So is the champion of the America Series, and we see the devastation on Sam's face and the happiness from Wesley. He did it just when the chips were down. Wesley manages to make the comeback when he's needed. Oh, what a star player, showing us why he is in the elite.
Fantastic play from Wesley. You can see he was just that little bit too good today, and throughout the competition he is one of the best players in the world, and we've seen why at long play chess, even at this format. Sam got some quite promising positions in those games, but it's one thing to get a promising position, it's another thing to convert those positions to wins. Wesley was just phenomenal there, absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, what a classy player, I have to say. So good. And here are the moments, you know, when Wesley decides just up the stakes. And I love the way he handled himself over the next few moves. You know, he puts his pieces on active post, and when he needed to, he struck out and unbalanced the position.
He did indeed. I mean, it was a bit annoying for Sam because he kind of did everything right. You know, he played some great ideas, but this is where Wesley really did the right thing again. He unbalanced the position. He got that black pawn right near to white's king, and I'm sure that Sam would not have wanted to allow that idea, because in the end that pawn was the killer pawn. Wesley brought his queen around to support it, and the white king was under too much pressure. That one little pawn, it won the game. A little foot soldier did all the damage.
Yeah. And there we can see this is the killer moment. You know, he just opens up all the light squares for the taking, and the cost, a measly pawn. And there you go. The queen comes in. It's going to snake its way to the h3 square, and Wesley just invincible.
Yeah, he was invincible, and this was the final flourish. The queen comes in, and he sacrificed that killer pawn. That pawn is a hero of this game, all the way into enemy territory, gave his life up to allow the other pieces to excel. That bishop now attacking the rook, and just it's only two pieces that are needed here. Just black's bishop and queen. They were killing white's structure and king there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful moment of chess. I mean, just can see that white's pieces are just helpless. There's no way that anything can stop that killer bishop, and the rook's just overrunning the white position. And Sam, well, his heart rate was skyrocketing at this point. He knows there's nothing he can do. You can see the shake of his head. He comes up, makes a move, and after Wesley's next move, the rook is going to come, attacking the queen. That is it. It is curtains. It is over. And Wesley is the worthy winner of the American Series.
Well, we're going to now have an interview with the loser of that match, Sam Shankland. So let's go over there now.
Sam, well, today has been an intense day for you. We'll talk about both matches, but let's start with the final. You lost both games to Wesley, but they were incredibly exciting. Can you tell us a bit about them?
Yeah, I mean, I came after him from move one with both colors. I think I got really nice positions, actually, in both games, but he was a bit sharper at a couple critical moments when I misplayed it, and yeah, I mean, you know, credit to him for taking his chance when it came, of course, but yeah, I think I could have done better in this last match.
Is still the most important thing to you when you beat Andrew? That means you qualified to grand final. How much does that mean to you?
Yeah, that was the big goal coming in, like long before I got my pairing tree or anything. I thought if I make it to the grand final and second place is fine. I mean, but it's easier to say that until you're actually playing the match for first and you lose it like that. But yeah, obviously the tournament, while it ended on a very sour note, and it's because I left so many chances on the table, obviously overall the tournament was a success.
Let's talk about the match against Andrew. That went completely the other way. You won both games. Tell us a bit about those.
Yeah, it just felt very smooth. I think Andrew just didn't bring his best today. He brought much higher quality chess to the other matches he played. I was even coming into the match thinking he's probably a favorite just because he spent so much time playing Blitz and Bullet online, and I really haven't. But just got very smooth positions both games. I prepared him both times and sort of cruised. So I was pleasantly surprised that it went as well as it did.
Can you tell us a little bit about what, in your opinion, made this tournament, the Armageddon Series, so special?
Well, I like that there's all the attention going towards production and that it's very TV friendly and stuff like that. This is very different than your normal Blitz where you're playing 9 games in a day and it's just one right after the other. And because there's only one game going on at a time, it gives the commentators the freedom to just look at that game only. So I quite like this one. I thought it turned out really nicely.
If you had to use just one word to describe this Armageddon series, what would that word be?
Enjoyable.
Will you still be following the coming tournaments? The next one, for example, we have a certain Vladimir Kramnik playing. Will you keeping an eye on it?
It depends on my schedule. I'll be back in California, so I guess plus 9 hours. If it starts at 7 p.m., that's 10 a.m. for me. So I guess I could. It depends. But if I have tournaments of my own to play, I can't be watching. But I guess I should be keeping an eye out for who I will face in the final in September.
For sure. You talked about your schedule. I believe you have another tournament lined up very, very soon.
Yeah, I'm leaving tomorrow for the American Cup in St. Louis, where I'll actually face Wesley in round 1. So that's... he got the better of me here and clearly showed better form, but hopefully I can find improvements before I have to play him. And classical chess caters a little more to my strengths.
How do you adapt with so little time? I guess there will be more prep to do. What's your plan for the next couple of days before that starts?
Mostly just rest. I mean, this was tiring, and I have a long journey ahead of me tomorrow. I've got to take a train to Frankfurt and fly Frankfurt, Chicago, St. Louis. It's a long day of travel. I'll be jet lagged, so I'm just going to try to recover and do my best to play well over there.
Just one final question. Looking back now that the tournament is over, how did you enjoy your week here in Berlin?
It was a lot of fun, and I'm looking forward to being back in September. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's the big tragedy of knockout events is no matter how well you play, unless you won the tournament, no matter how well you play, you've lost the last match, which always leaves it a little sour. But I certainly had a great time here in Berlin, and I was very glad to have been invited.
Well, Sam, it was a pleasure having you. Congratulations. We look forward to having you back in September. For now, back to the studio where Jovanka and Simon are with our winner, Wesley. So.
Well, it's great. We've got the winner in the studio. So first of all, congratulations to Wesley.
Yeah.
Well done, Wesley. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah, thank you to everyone who made this tournament great and possible. Really happy to be here. And
yeah,
that was, I mean, today was just an icing on the cake. That was just brilliant.
Yeah. And how did you feel, especially during the first game where it looked a little bit shaky for you?
Yeah, I was kind of regretting my opening choice there at the beginning. Problem is Sam plays many different openings, many different setups. So I didn't expect him to play c5 the first one. I was kind of regretting how the opening turned out. Now was obviously worse because his pieces are very well placed. But I was trying to equalize, trying to find ways to get a playable position. And after knight b5 rook takes c6, I got some chances. I was quite pleased when I saw this exchange sacrifice.
Yeah.
One thing that really impressed me was in both games when maybe the position was starting to go, well, it was a bit tough. You switched it up, so you sacrificed the exchange in that one, and you found this. You got the pawn to f3 in the other game. So were you feeling confident in that game, the last one, when the pawn got near white's king?
Yeah, for sure, because now I have to lose like 3 games in a row in order to. Looking hindsight, I think the match yesterday with Andrew was very critical for this event because that meant Sam had to win 3 matches today to win it all, and it's just the odds are against you. When into a game match, anything can happen. But when I won the first game with White, the match was essentially pretty much over. It's hard to win many games in a row on demand, and also I had the increment. But when the pawn got to f3, I realized I wasn't risking anything. The opposite colored bishops, even if I lose that pawn, I get very good compensation. I think he got nothing the opening out of the second game because I played this line before with black last year against Levon Aronian.
And you'll be pleased to know you actually got a personal best when it came to heart rates.
Oh, yeah.
You managed to, I think, 107, was it?
175.
175.
I think, yeah, so it's,
Did you reach 175 today?
I think so. That's what our heart rate monitor said. So you broke all the records.
Yeah, that's not a good thing.
You won the game, and somehow, I mean, do you feel the pressure? Do you feel that your heart is pumping furiously, or are you just in the zone?
Not at all. I think I had a pretty high rate for many years, a pretty high heart rate for many years now. So I don't feel anything at all. Unfortunately, I don't have to wear this watch in every tournament I go to. But right now it's pretty low. I mean, it's 100, it's around 99. So
that's because we relax you. Is that right?
Yeah.
After the stress of the chess, it was obviously very stressful there.
Because yeah, it's pretty shocking. My heart rate is that high, and I don't feel it one bit at all. I'm just playing normally and all that. But I need to be in better physical shape, obviously. For that could be one thing that I could improve upon.
Yeah. And I just wanted to ask you a little bit about what you feel when you're sat down and there's all these lights coming, and then you know you're going to be on television. I mean, what runs through your head?
Just adrenaline and excitement, and you know, this is the big moment I've been waiting for. Prepared hard for this tournament, but at the same time, this tournament was not so bad because it's only 3-minute games, so it's nice and fast. You gotta be extremely focused those first few minutes, but then the match is suddenly over. You know, you just give your all and try to make use of every chance that you get.
Yeah, and are you superstitious by any chance? Do you have a ritual that you abide by?
No, not really. Now that I mentioned superstitious.
We have a lot of action in the back there. Just don't say superstitious again, please.
I stand corrected. I will not make that mistake ever again.
Fiona thrown the no, only joking. So,
but yeah, no, I don't have any superstitions, and my mother doesn't believe in luck. But it's nice when you have a routine. This tournament, it's nice. I pretty much do the same thing every day. I come to the venue, I start the game the same time every day. So it's nice when you're doing the same thing every day, and when it's going well, you know, I don't change anything. I wear the same shirt, wear the same pants, you know, just try to do the same thing, and not to change anything unless I lose.
And in the next one of these Armageddon series, there's really some serious player. That's the Asian thing. We've got Kramnik playing.
Yeah.
And he's obviously ex-world champion and a fantastic player. I mean, would you be looking forward to playing someone like Kramnik?
Yeah, for sure. Actually, he retired, was it 4 years ago? But he still plays speed chess from time to time, and actually this year he played some speed chess online. And I was watching his games, and he's still really, really good. I'm very impressed by Vladimir Kramnik. He's one of the best chess players who's ever lived.
Do you have a hero chess player? Do you have one chess player you look up to more than anyone else?
Well, right now it's Magnus. He's just so consistent. But I also like, you know, Bobby Fischer. He's an American hero, and the things he did in 1970 cannot be replicated. But yeah, next tournament Armageddon series will be very strong. It's not only got Kramnik. I think it's also had you know, Vincent Keimer, Alexander Donchenko, Germans. Who else? Richard Rapport, Jan Christoph.
Yeah, I think it's the Asian
It's
one.
the Asian one, so it's
the Asian one.
Dubov, and
oh yeah, Kramnik is on the Asia and Oceania.
yeah, Vidit is also playing. I mean,
Canada,
so many
Geographic.
good names. But
Yeah, for sure.
I know that
Daniel Dubov, yeah, Gukesh. Yeah, it's going to be very exciting. I mean, this first leg is interesting too because some of the top players like Nakamura Kawana and Aronian didn't play, but it's an interesting mix. I'm very glad to qualify for the finals.
And I know that you have another tournament coming up next, within the next few days, the American Cup.
Yeah.
If memory serves me correctly, you'll be playing Sam Shankland, right, in the first round?
Yeah, that's true. It's the second year we have this American Cup. And it's also double elimination. It's 8 of the top players in the US. So I was seeded number 3 and Sam is seeded number 6. So that's how it goes. But it'll have a much longer time control. It's also a 2-game match.
So were you trying to hide preparation?
Yeah, for faster time controls, you don't need to show as much opening preparation as opening preparation is not as important because you make mistakes and all that. And I was watching Sam's first game against Tang earlier, and I think he mixed up the move order in the opening. Like said, bishop g5 should play knight d5. But anyway, it's just the time is so fast, you kind of make mistakes here and there. But yeah, but I mean, Sam is one of the best prepared players in the US. So.
And a final question. I mean, you are the Armageddon champion. Do you feel relief now? Excitement? Are you a bit disappointed it's over? What emotions are you feeling?
How can I be disappointed when I won?
Disappointed it's over. Maybe you want to play some more, you know? So.
Oh, play some more?
Yeah.
Well, we can play later.
Oh God. Okay, challenge accepted. So,
you're a grandmaster.
Well, yeah, apparently so. Okay, so I'm gonna get battered by Wesley later on. But I look forward to it.
Maybe, yeah. No, I'm very pleased because I haven't won a tournament in 4 months, so this is a huge deal for me.
Brilliant. Well, thank you, Wesley. And I think we're now going to be joined by Fiona. Highlights are coming first, though. So let's go and have a look at the highlights.
Congratulations, Wesley.
Oh, yeah.
Well done.
And time to also mention another partner, IT.com, the official partner of the Armageddon Championship Series. A domain registry like no other, it provides a platform for anyone to create innovative domains and effectively showcase their online presence. Don't miss this opportunity. Visit IT.com today and create your unique online image.
Brilliant stuff. Well, it's been so exciting so far, and Wesley has just proven to be a bit of class, well, a class above, I'd say. Everyone else quite slightly there with his fantastic play. And he was just crushing everyone, wasn't he? And a lovely chap as well. And he wants to play me later. How do you think that's going to go? Do you think I'll better take him down?
Yeah.
Destroy him a little bit?
I think he won't be able to handle your unique, aggressive style, Simon. Don't put yourself down.
I
reckon you'll take a few points.
You reckon? Okay, well, we'll see. So we might better get some highlights of that later on. Obviously, the highlight of the whole event, me playing Wesley and Wesley crushing me. Actually, talking about getting crushed.
I thought I was going in here discreetly.
Very discreetly. And we're joined by our great friend. And the only game I've played during this whole event was against Fiona. And Fiona, you crushed me.
I did.
So how you doing, Fiona?
I'm doing well. I am, unlike Wesley, a little bit disappointed the tournament is over because it's been such great fun working with you guys, with our lovely players and the fantastic team behind the scenes. I think I want to give a big shout out to everyone because you guys at home see us, but there's so many people working behind the scenes to make this all happen. So yeah, it's been great fun. I think Wesley, a deserving champion, and all in all, a fantastic start to this new series.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't say it better myself. I mean, absolutely wonderful series, full of adrenaline, full of Armageddons, pushing chess to the limit. And I have to say, Wesley started off as the favorite. He just showed us all how it's done, how he can handle those nerves and play chess under such stress.
And did you get a chance to, you were working quite hard, well, very hard, I should say. Did you get a chance to enjoy any of the chess?
I did enjoy, the games. I've been following them closely down in the control room. I didn't get to play any chess, only against you.
Did you say you were going to retire after the game? It's the highlight of your life, I believe you made
like
mentioned. So,
something like that. No, but it's been, I think, just a very enjoyable tournament. I got to interview, all the players, and I think all of them really enjoyed. I think today, I don't want to put words into it. I think it was Sam. I asked him, one word to describe this event, and he said enjoyable. So I think the players had a fun time. We had a fun time, and on to the next one very soon. But what a start to this series! And I think, as you mentioned, Wesley, such a deserving champion. Maybe one of the only players who didn't play a single Armageddon game.
Yeah, well, we can actually, talking about the next event, this is the sort of first one. Let's have a look at the Asia and Oceania one, and we've got some amazing players playing in this. Just look at that lineup. I know that, one of your favorite players of all time is Big Vlad, isn't it, Fiona? We can see Vladimir is in there, but look at the other lineup as well. They're all amazing, Jovanka, there.
Yeah, they're incredible players. Gukesh, man of the moment, and we have Murali Karthikeyan, who actually is an online qualifier, and we have a big question mark as well, because there is still an online qualifier to be played, and any one of us, well, actually we're not from Asia, anyone from Asia, Oceania, can have a shot at joining us here in Berlin from April 3rd to April 9th.
I'd love to play Kramnik, Well, I get to play Wesley, so, that's probably...
You get to play Wesley right now.
No, he said he wants to play me afterwards. He's punished enough people. He wants to punish some more, I feel, and that's going to be exciting for me. But make sure you put those dates in your diary. There's loads of stuff on YouTube. You can watch some great interviews with Fiona, some highlights from us. And we've definitely enjoyed Berlin as well. It's been interesting. Good fun at times. Have you got a highlight, both of you, that you can say from the whole event or from outside of the event?
I think for me the highlight inside the event has to be that first Armageddon match between Andrew Tang and Leinier Dominguez, because this was how chess was played before, and we saw it kind of getting back to its roots. The players kind of weren't so familiar with playing so quickly, so we saw the pieces go flying, the heart rate skyrocketed. We didn't even know what to say, because we were just like, my God, the players are going so quickly. It was like, look at the clock. And I love that moment, and I think it kind of deservedly went viral.
Definitely, yeah. And what about you?
I was going to pick the same moment. I think for a lot of people, who followed this event, who were watching us live, I think that was the defining moment. It was really the first showstopper of this event. And as Jovanka said, this is what chess used to be. Now we have moved more towards time controls with increment. We'll see, where we go from here, but I think this tournament, it really got the heart rates pumping. I think not just of the players, but the people at home as well. I think really enjoyed this show, so I can't wait for the next one. As you guys said, some fantastic names, and what a fun event it has been.
Yeah, definitely. And, again, the next event is sort of leading up to the grand final. It is a very interesting experiment, this. I love it. I love the quick pace. A lot of people say classical chess is a little bit too slow. Like the world champion, he's going for more quicker time limits, and this Armageddon has led to some crazy finishes, pieces going, some arguments, and it's just been extremely exciting. My highlight, probably the Eric Hansen interview, which you can see, which you can see on YouTube as well.
That's what I should have said. That's what you're setting me up for.
Well, you've been doing some brilliant interviews and all this extra material. Just go to World Chess and it's all on there. They got great ideas going on for the future. So there's loads of stuff to come. And I've never seen such a funky studio. It's like, you know, this is like I feel like a Smurf, a blue ginger Smurf in this studio. So you can tell we're having some great fun here as well during this last week or so, commentating away. So it's been good.
It's been a lot of fun, and I definitely can't wait, like you say, for the next event, the Asia and Oceania series. And we saw some amazing players. We just also have to reiterate that it starts from April the 3rd. Here we go, April the 3rd to April the 9th. And this time there's going to be something even more special, because on April the 2nd, these players plus one other qualifier will be available for fans to meet and greet at the Unter den Linden World Chess Club.
Do you think I could get a signature off Kramnik? That would make my year. Do you reckon he'd let me get a signature? You know,
I think he would.
You think so?
Yeah, maybe he'd even give you a game like Wesley.
Maybe. I'm not sure I want that. No, of course I'd love to play. I mean, Kramnik is one of the greatest chess players of all time. And just a bit of information we got as well. We're putting a little other records on the line here. Who gets the highest heart rate? This is a completely unique thing. So we got the highest. I thought it was Wesley So, 175, but it wasn't. Can anyone guess who got the highest right? It wasn't Wesley.
Well, I can't guess because I actually know the answer.
Okay, any guess?
I thought I was hearing the same stuff as you, but my
You're supposed to pretend like.
I cannot lie, Simon.
You're not a very good liar, are you?
No, I
you
really
need to
am
practice
not.
That.
Yeah, but we did hear that it was Leinier Dominguez with a heart rate of 181, and as a prize, I guess he gets a trip to the doctors.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You win a trip to the emergency room, Mr. Dominguez. Well done there. So, and the lowest heart rate, I'm not sure. I think it was Andrew Tang. I mean, he's young, he's healthy.
What a cool customer Andrew is. Even in the interviews afterwards, you know, I was really impressed. Like, for example, that Armageddon that you referenced, both came and both were so calm. I mean, I thought they're going to be all over the place, but no, really, really impressed by our players, you know, on both ends of the spectrum.
I can remember once in a tournament, I got asked if I could wear a heart rate monitor, and I said, no, I can't. You're not. I'd be like, I might be the first person to be over 200. That's what I was worried about. It's not happening. It's just not happening. And yeah, but it's a great idea. We don't see this enough at events, and I love that loads of new things are being tried here, and you know, you can check out these heart rates and all those matches again by going on the World Chess YouTube channel and also the social media channels. So
absolutely, check out, as you Simon said, the YouTube channel, but also Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. You can find us everywhere under either World Chess or the World Chess. I'm sure you'll manage to find it, and lots of content both that was filmed live here, but also behind the scenes, so you can get a bit of an idea of what was happening here in Berlin.
Yeah, it's a lovely place they got here. So if you're in Berlin, this is a place to check out, definitely. And Berlin as a town is quite interesting as well. I think we'd all agree. Very, very nice place to come. So we are coming to the end now of this America's season of the Armageddon chess tournament, and it's only going to get better, it's only going to get stronger, and it's only going to get faster. I want to see if 181 is going to be beating as a heart rate. So we will see. We'll find out later on. And yeah, I mean, any last words from either of you?
No, I mean, apart from it was just a fantastic event, you know, absolutely revolutionary. You know, so we saw some incredible games of chess. Our hearts stopped beating, I think, on several occasions. And we saw chess players at their rawest, their finest. And I love the fact that I feel like chess is being reclaimed by the streets.
Absolutely. A big thank you to all of you out there, of course, who watched us throughout the week. We hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you enjoyed what you saw, and hopefully we'll see you for the next one.